And the reason why you will never see God's seed begging for bread is because his seed is a multivitamin. It's one seed that got the potential to sprout up and hit all of your needs and still produce overflow for everybody in your house and your neighbor's house if you're generous enough. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 11, it says, "Then God said, let the land sprout with vegetation, every sort of seed-bearing plant and trees that grow seed-bearing fruit." You know what this sound like? This sound like multiplication. This sound like God is trying to make us aware of the fact that he put in the ability of all of his creations to be able to multiply. That's why we got to stop stressing ourselves out trying to get 10 different gifts. You don't need 10 different gifts. You need to ask God, what gift that you put in me that got the ability to produce them 8 streams of incomes that you recommended that I have. For example, if you good with words, you got the ability to be a preacher, a teacher, a book writer, and a movie producer. If you good at art, if you good with drawing and paint, you got the ability to paint houses, paint murals on buildings. You got the ability to make graphics in comic books and children's books and whatever the case may be. You got multiple things that you can do just from that one seed. Stop trying to strain yourself and stress yourself out and make the devil think that a jack of all trades is good. But stay inside of your gift, okay? Let's move on. It says, these seeds will produce the kind of plants and trees from which they came. So you're not going to get an orange from an apple seed. So the seed gonna produce like what they came from. And because you are God's seed, you gonna produce like what you came from. And then I said, well, God, if we all came from you, then why is it that it's people in the world who don't produce godly things? They intentionally try to produce evil things. And he said, go back to Matthew in a parable about the weeds. When the farmer plant his plants, then the enemy comes when the farmer is sleepy and plant weeds inside of his garden to taint his fruit, right? And that's why you got to be careful. You know why it said when the farmer was asleep, that's when the enemy comes. So the enemy comes when you sleep, aka when you unaware that the enemy is even trying to show up. So when you riding around and you listening to all of that music that goes against the morals that God wants you to have, goes against everything that you know God want to instill in you, that's when you got to be careful, because you unaware that the devil is using it to plant a seed that you can't even see yet. So you got to start being careful about what type of seeds you allow to be planted in your life, because Pastor Mike be teaching us that to everything it's a front side and a back side. So just like a good seed got the potential to produce a plethora of good things, a bad seed got the potential to produce a plethora of bad things that you don't want to happen. So ask yourself today and forevermore, what type of seed are you going to keep on planting in your head, in your life? Stay warm.